Hello and thanks for joining me for this race from Daily Race B around Tokyo Expressway. This is from my live stream last night and it's one of my favourite races of the evening. It's a good example of how fun I think this race can be. I originally thought that this was going to be an absolute disaster doing this race, but it's really fun, super rewarding when you get it right, and does bring some really good racing, which is not what you necessarily would have thought with the slipstream and the penalties, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. A good example in here as well of how you can use the slipstream to your advantage or to someone else's disadvantage, depending on who you want to give an advantage to. So let's go on board and see if we manage to get our podium finish we were aiming for by the end of the night. So we're starting this race off here in 4th place. The objective here was to get a podium finish, which should have got my DR back up to 70,000, which is where I wanted to finish the night on. And we're in a good position to do that. Obviously I only need to go up one position, but we have got to avoid the dreaded penalties. We have got the fellow Brit behind us, Mobo, as well, that I've been having a couple of little issues with. Wouldn't in any way say he's a dirty driver, I'm not saying that at all, but he's definitely very late on the brakes in certain points and was perhaps not as courteous as I would have liked it to have been at some point. So I was a little bit wary of him being behind me, but going to come on board here and see what we managed to do and if we're going to be able to climb up a place or two. So just being careful here coming into the first turn. Obviously nobody wants to be taking anybody out right in the first corner. I'm just going to go around in order there, no change of position. The 3 drivers in front had been on most of the evening and all had good pace. Got max power there in the Lamborghini as well. He was making the Huracan work for him, which during the race, as long as you keep the slipstream, does seem to be able to keep up if you're fast enough in it. Rather him than me personally with my experience of driving that car, but he was definitely making it work for him. Now we are pulling away here a little bit from Mobo, the front 4 of us, and especially through that corner there I was gaining quite a bit of time through most of the evening, although we don't do it the best on this first lap. Through the dangerous S's there, which are definitely the scariest part of the track, especially when you're up close behind somebody. You really don't want to be following too closely through that section there, or it can be absolutely disastrous. But you see that we've pulled right away. The front 4 of us are nicely in the lead, and it's looking very cushy for me to be getting this 3rd or 2nd place if I can keep up with them. So I'm going to skip through the straight here. Nothing really happened other than us just following down in a train. But as we get near the braking zone, they leave the car's width up the inside, and I figure I might as well go for it. So put my car up the inside, make sure I hit my braking marker, and we're going to follow tight round the inside here to go up one position. Now we have got max power up the inside there, so we have to give him the space, but more than happy to move up a position through there, and cleanly done as well. So our objective of finishing on the podium is looking very good at the minute. We're up into 3rd place at the start of the 2nd lap. 2nd and 1st well within our sights, and so far so good. Now this is where the race is going to get a little bit more tricky. You just can't afford to make any mistakes through here, so I'm absolutely flying through this section, everything's going fine. But here I downshift into 4th way too early. The car turns in more than I expect. I clip that barrier, and despite the fact that it's probably lost me about 4/10 to the people in front, obviously according to the game I deserve a 1.5 second penalty, so I'm going to serve that penalty. It's going to drop me down into 4th, and it's going to mean Mobo is going to come flying up from behind here. Now again, he's not really done anything wrong there as such, except for maybe not giving much room on the outside, but you know, he's carrying a lot more pace, he's come at the inside, but given everything else that had happened all evening, that was a little bit frustrating. But we just bumped drafting down the straight here. I just want to catch up with the front 3, so we need to just work together, use our slipstream to make sure that we try and catch up with the trio in front, and hopefully still be fighting for that podium. So suddenly we've gone from, you know, looking at a definite 3rd if not 2nd place to fighting in 5th to get back up, but that is part of the fun of these daily races. Grazes the wall there, but manages to not get a penalty somehow, which I was seeing a little bit of, and then other times you can just touch any of those walls and you'll get a penalty, but he's got away with it on that occasion. And we see there up ahead the second place driver has got himself a 1.5 second penalty, so now the roles are reversed. We're going to be the pair coming from behind and he's going to be dropping back, so that is very fortuitous for us here in 4th and 5th. Now they're obviously got a lot more pace because of the slipstream, but it's actually better, in my opinion, just to drop back there a little bit and then have the slip of the driver in front coming down this straight. So we're going to stay on board for this straight, the reason being that this is what I mean about being able to use the slipstream to your advantage, you know, or to give it to who you want to give it to. So Mobo and I are coming up obviously quite rapidly on the driver with no slipstream in front. And I've got a choice here. I can either bump Mobo, or I think, no, do you know what? I'm going to go across and I'll bump the other driver, Shmakiki, is it? He tries to come across there but can't quite get across in time. I'm going to bump draft up into 4th place, and it's now going to be myself and Shmakiki who are going to be fighting. He's very late on the brake there again into first corner, trying to get the undercut, but it's not going to be enough as I have got the slipstream of the driver in front and he's going to have to drop back. Now we just need a clean lap here and hopefully we can get the slingshot down the back straight and get that 3rd place that we want. So managed to make it through smoothly here. Nice distance as well. This is the kind of distance that I like following at through this next section. You don't want to be gaining up on the driver too much, or it can get very hairy coming into that chicane. But unfortunately Shmakiki makes a bit of a mistake there and we do come flying up on him right before the worst part of the track, but managed to keep it together, not hit the wall at all, and somehow get through without a penalty. Definite heart and mouth moment coming through there in the race when I was doing this live, but I managed to survive it. Just the final corner to get round cleanly. And it comes the outside, a little bit of seconds, turn the car in, get on the power nice and early, and now we just got to see, are we able to time the overtake well enough, because it is possible if you slipstream past somebody in this race to then get re-slipped, if that makes sense, and you'll lose the position again. So I'm going to come past here and then come across just to break the slipstream a little bit and get the inside line for crossing, and we are going to finish in 3rd place. So a bit of a race of ups and downs there. It was an enjoyable one, and definitely recommend this race if you've been avoiding it and didn't like the look of the combo. It's a lot more fun than it looks. So please feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and look forward to seeing you for another one again soon. Thanks very much.